2 podcasts in a week. Well, because, we didn't even touch the preview panel and all the other announcements from MagicCon Vegas. But first, the intro. My name is Dom Douglas, and I've been playing Magic the Gathering for what seems like forever. But in fact, it's only been on and off for about 30 years. With that comes an expectation that I'm the best player ever. You couldn't be any more wrong in that statement. What I do like, however, is having a lot of fun. Whether it be playing Limited, Draft, Commander, Standard when I get the chance, Arena, Magic the Gathering Online, it doesn't matter as long as a good time is had. And with that, I have some opinions, not just of Magic the Gathering, but also video games, comics, maybe even a TV show or two. This is the Goblin Grenade Podcast. That is right, everybody. This episode of the podcast, which is probably dropping Friday, is going to be centered on all the announcements that happened at MagicCon that I've been able to gather. There was a lot. They previewed a lot of Edge of Eternity cards. I have some strong opinions on Edge of Eternities, especially after watching that panel. Avatar got dropped a little bit. They dropped a preview card on it. They announced a different way to draft, a new variant of the draft format, even a new variant or two for Commander. But the biggest bit of news was the preview panel for MagicCon Vegas, dealing almost exclusively with Edge of Eternities. And oh boy, is Wizards of the Coast, in my opinion, in trouble with this set. I couldn't get through a lot of their explanations, especially when they started talking about this might be the first of many sets on the Edge of Eternities. Apparently Wizards did not learn their lessons with Detectives and the NASCAR set and Duskmourn. The biggest difference on those three, between Murders of Karlov Manor, where everybody makes fun of the Wizards for making everything a detective, for Duskmourn, the 80s horror movie, and Aetherdrift, the NASCAR set. One of those sets, mechanically, was really good, and that was Duskmourn. Duskmourn would have been my most hated thematic set if Aetherdrift didn't exist. But at least with Duskmourn, there are cards mechanically. The set is actually really good when it comes to mechanics. It's a really banger set. It's just thematically, the set is terrible. Aetherdrift, on the other hand, had a really bad set thematics and mechanics. I think there's a handful of cards in Aetherdrift that are being used right now. It is the biggest wasted set, and that's the reason why you could probably pick a lot of Aetherdrift up on the cheap right now. The store I go to mainly is still drowning in Aetherdrift. It's a running joke. It's a running gag. It's going to continue until Aetherdrift disappears, because that set shouldn't have existed. Just like the Space Opera Fantasy set shouldn't exist. We can see how some of the best home runs that Wizards have hit in the last few years have been the sets based in fantasy with nothing else involved in it. No sci-fi, no race car, no none of that. It is honest truth. When they just stick to fantasy, they're pretty good, and it doesn't lie. Dominaria United was good. Brother War, March of the Machines, and Phyrexia all would be one were okay, and I'm talking about the sets in Standard that have been released in the last couple of years. Wilds of Eldraine, home run. Caverns of Ixalan, home run. Murders of Karlov Manor, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We forgot about the Cowboys. We forgot about the Wild West and Cowboys set. Are you playing any cards from the Wild West Cowboy set, except for Bill Burney? I don't think so. That was a big fail. The Big Score, which was tied in with Thunder Junction, counts. Bloomborough, home run. Duskmourn, thematically, nope. Mechanically, amazing. Tons of cards in Duskmourn are being seen, are being played right now. Foundations, that's a home run, and that's the base set. Aetherdrift, no. we don't talk about Aether Drift. Tarkir Dragonstorm, amazing. Home run. Final Fantasy. It's based off fantasy. Yes, there's some sci-fi involved, but they kept it to the Magic the Gathering theme for the most part. These sets are great. Edge of Eternities isn't going to be great. I guarantee you now it's not going to be as bad as Aether Drift was, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but it's going to be bad. Every time they previewed cards, the crowd, in my brain and in my notes, I just put the crowd went mild. There was no reaction. And that's worse than getting booed or jeered for anything, because at least somebody felt something. Nobody in that attending crowd who were hyped for the preview, who were specifically there for this panel to see the cards and be hyped about and get the first hand knowledge, there was no excitement. There was maybe like a couple like, yay, and all right, but by and large, everything they previewed had no emotion to it from the audience, and that's worse, because as I said a few seconds ago, if you get booed or cheered, that's better than getting nothing, because at least somebody felt something, and nobody is feeling anything, and that target audience was your main target audience. Those people came to see the previews, and they probably left very disappointed. Marvel Spider-Man. I don't know how this set's going to go. It's probably going to eclipse Final Fantasy in sales because it's Spider-Man. I think thematically it's going to be infinitely more jarring than Edge of Eternities is, but we've weirdly, with the Universes Beyond, we're almost conditioned to it now on that. But mechanically, I don't know. It's going to be a whiplash either way. Then Avatar Last Airbender coming out to finish the year off. I don't know. They previewed one card at the end of the panel, and the crowd went ballistic. I'm not even joking. That's not hyperbole. Like, the crowd went crazy for this card, and that was the reaction they've been wanting for the whole panel, and it got to the end of the year set. So now we're going to break it down a little bit further here. Some of my notes, and I said it, please stop with the space fantasy stuff. Make this the only one. I don't want to go back a year from now. Edge of Eternities 2, the Electric Boogaloo. I don't want it. Nobody wants it. Listen to your audience on this one, especially when they, once again, like Aether Drift, I have a sneaky feeling they're going to judge on their wallets, and nobody's buying this garbage. I'll buy singles. I'm basically for the Shocklands, okay? I'm basically here for Edge of Eternities for the Shocklands. And I know for a fact, okay, and this is me just wild conjecture, but I know these Shocklands, the first 5 that they're printing, they're late addition to the game design. They're replacing something. They probably replaced crappy lands that they made. Because you would figure with Shocks being so universally loved in Magic the Gathering and universally used almost everywhere, because they're as close to the OG duels as Wizards has ever printed. Okay. You would figure they would at least get a couple more printings out of them. Mutavault, a kind of crappy card that has had many reprintings over the last few years. Got like 8 treatments, and the Shocklands, which were Ravnica exclusive, might I add, for the most part, they're now in space, and pretty much I'm just going to let the market. I'm going to get a lot of Shocklands on cheap. That's probably the only cards I'm buying from this set. This set doesn't look fun. It doesn't look exciting. It doesn't look good. I don't care how many buzzwords they tried. I don't know how, and I really don't care how much you out there want to use the massive amounts of copium to tell yourselves that this set is good. Honest truth, for me, This set is garbage. And if you like this set, that's okay. That's fine. You can have your opinion on it. But just know, it's heavy amounts of copium that you're eating because this set just doesn't look fun. I don't care if they've only previewed 8 or 9 cards. I don't care for any of them, especially the spacecraft, the new card. They're pretty terrible. They're pretty bad. They're new versions of vehicles that you tap a creature and its power gets added on, and then when it gets X amount of power, X amount of counters on it or whatever, it turns into a creature. They just look bad. They just feel bad. Mechanically are probably garbage. The set screams the biggest fail if Aether Drift didn't exist. It's not going to be as bad as Aether Drift because I tell you what, these Shocklands are going to save the set. By and far, going to save the set. That's the only reason why people are going to be buying them. That's the only reason why these sets are going to get, this set is going to get cracked. Even the basic lands just don't look right. They look okay in the Infinity set. They don't look good in a base Magic set. They just don't look right. They don't feel right. And I know this is probably old man screaming at the trees here, but come on. You know that even the people at the panel were feeling it. Like, and when the marquee headliner card got revealed, the Southern, the Super Void or whatever, absolutely nobody cared. Until they showed the Singularity foil headliner card that you can only get in collector boosters, I might add. This card, I am not even joking. This particular alternate version of the card, they had a video showing you what the card looked like because words would not come close to describing what this card looks like. I will be here to tell you this looks like the most beautifully different Magic card in existence. First off, it's just the art. It's just the name of the card and the amount of mana it cost to cast it. That's it. There's no other flavor text. There's no other text on the card, which is going to present a little bit of a problem sometimes. But this artwork looks so good and the colors pop and the deep black colors, the multiple treatments that they said they did for the black to make it look as black as possible. Just don't tell Anish Kapoor that this card exists and we should be fine. And if you get the joke, you earned yourself an internet point. But look, I'm been poo-pooing on this set for the last 12 minutes now. I'll say it flat out. The shocks are great, and this very exclusive, almost impossible to find in collector booster Singularity foil headliner of Southern the Super Void. It's probably the best looking card I've seen. Only 2 commander decks in this one, like I kind of predicted a couple months ago when I saw when they first started announcing Edge of Eternities. I called it 2 commander decks, and I was kind of correct on that one. The last Airbender preview card, as I said, got the reaction that they've been wanting this entire panel. I'm not a Last Airbender fan. I'm not an Avatar The Last Airbender fan. I'm not an anime guy, and that's okay. I'm not saying it's crap. Not at all. Far from it. I'm happy that the Avatar fans have got to feel what I felt when it comes to Fallout, Lord of the Rings, and Final Fantasy. Because, truth be told, those 3 sets have been home runs for me. And I have a feeling that mechanically, from what little I've seen and heard of the show, that it's going to play really well in Magic the Gathering. And I'm just happy for you Airbender fans out there that get to experience the full array of what Magic the Gathering can do, and just seeing your cards the characters that you've loved and have attached yourself to for all these years and fan favorites getting their stuff. I'm happy for you. I really am. That's no hyperboil. That's no BS coming out of me. That is just simply put, I'm glad. Then Lorwyn Eclipsed is coming out in January of next year, of 2026. It was supposed to come out this year, but we're trying to decide. Nobody knows what set pushed it back. I have a feeling it's the Spider-Man set, not the Avatar set, that pushed Lorwyn back. I really do. This Lorwyn Eclipse was supposed to come out this year, and then some time ago it got pushed back. And people were speculating on what set pushed it back. I have a feeling it's the Spider-Man set. Because think about it. They're doing 3 and 3. And the Spider-Man set definitely they knew was coming out at some point. But release-wise, would it make more sense just to push that set back? And I think Spider-Man's the one that kicked out Lorwyn. That's probably going to be the next set I go ham on too, by the way. Because I think this year I'm just buying a lot of Bloomburrow, Foundations, and Final Fantasy if I can find it, because those are the 3 sets, and Tarkir Dragonstorm. Those are the 4 sets that I've been enjoying a lot, and that's the beauty of Magic, I guess, that we're getting to, besides speculators and the like, and scalpers coming into the game now. We're going to have so many offerings per year that we can just kind of pick and choose. And don't forget, if there's a couple great cards in Edge of Eternities or Spider-Man that need, especially Edge of Eternities, that are going to see play, buy singles. Honest truth. That's what I'm going to do in the Shocklands. I'm going to be buying so many Shocklands and trading for so many Edge of Eternity Shocklands. That's going to be stupid. That all 30-something of my Commander decks, and then some, are going to now be fully Shocklanded out. That's what I feel. Especially if they only have the one printing. If they have multiple printings, then they've proven me wrong that it's not a late edition. But if they have just the one printing, I think the market is going to be flooded on Shocklands, just like it was when they last came out. And that being said, next set, I think after Lex Magic officially theme set coming out is Strixhaven. We're going back, and I have a feeling that's where the rest of the Shocklands are going, in Strixhaven. So we're going back to Wizard School. Just don't call it Harry you-know-what, because J.K. Rowling can kiss my you-know-what. Also, I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. I've never been. Okay, my story with Harry Potter is I only saw the movies, never read the books. Saw the first movie, and I was like, oh man, I want to go to Hogwarts and roll right now. Second movie, I was like, maybe I can be a transfer student. Then I saw a third movie in the theater, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to pursue different options. I'm not saying your franchise is bad. I'm saying the creator behind it is a horrible human being, but it's not for me. Just like Avatar's not for me. Just like, technically, Edge of Eternities isn't for me. But if it's for you, cool, awesome. I know I've been kind of yucking your yum here on it, but that's just how I feel. And if you want to tell me your opinion, leave it down below. Like, comment, subscribe here, Max Heroes and Villains. I've said time and time again, I love Magic the Gathering, but when I feel Wizards done messed up, I will say that Wizards done messed up. And I feel with Edge of Eternities, Wizards done messed up. Then they finally announced comic book collaboration, and it's not who you think it is. You would think that, with the working relationship they have with Marvel, that would be a home run slam dunk. Maybe. No, Dark Horse Comics, of all places. And maybe they've had a long-lasting friendship or collaboration with Dark Horse. I have no idea. Maybe. I know IDW, I think, they did have a little bit of a working relationship with, but I just wonder how Marvel feels about the Wizards of the Coast Magic the Gathering comics coming out for Dark Horse. So that is what the panel mostly went over. When it comes to Edge of Eternities, though, some of the cards, they released MSRP for Edge of Eternities. Play boosters $5.49. Okay, we're back to normal. Collector boosters $25. Commander decks $44. Bundle $53. So I might wind up getting a little bit more than I anticipated with this, especially because it's coming out in August 1st, okay? That's not too much time, actually. That's like a little over a month, okay? And that's why Final Fantasy has a shortened season. And if you're playing on Arena, you just noticed today, Wednesday the 25th, I know today's podcast already went up and I'm doing Friday's podcast. I know I have to make sure I hedge my bets here on release schedules. Anyway, I noticed that there's 34 days left to acquire my season pass rewards for Final Fantasy. I'll do it. There's only 50 levels. I'm already at like 20, but get used to this, folks, as well. The rapid ascent in Standard, where the next set comes out and you barely have enough time to buy the previous set. Pre-release, July 25th to the 31st happened for Edge of Eternities. Commander Box League, I don't want Wizards doing that, and they're supporting Box League. If you don't know, you buy a box of Edge of Eternities, and you crack it, and you make a commander deck out of it. Two-Headed Giant Commander Night, August 1st through September 18th. Problem is, I'm going to be in Jersey around that time in August. I think me and the girlfriend might do Two-Headed Giant. I've always said it's my least favorite format because I never have a partner to play with. And I always feel like I get stuck with a random person, and I blow their event for them because I suck at this game. Don't let the podcast fool you. Don't let the gameplay fool you, even though the drafts have been telling you I don't know how to play this game. But me and the girl, we'll rock out. I'll bring a couple decks up just in case. Like, I'll bring Edgar, the upgraded Edgar, I might add. But I'm going to bring my Final Fantasy deck and Emperor Palmesia, if it's built. I'll bring that as well. But yeah, Edge of Eternities, they revealed a couple cards. Tezzeret's in the set. You've probably seen it already. Tezzeret is weird because it's now, he's a colorless commander, because he's like mainly like an artifact, hybrid human being, artifact, RoboCop, if you will, just on the bad side of things. The Ceremia is a 1/2 white. That's the spacecraft that they said. It's a 5/5 whenever it becomes a creature, and when it enters, search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle. A little bit of a tutor effect there. And then once it has 7 counters to station, tap another creature you control, put charge counters equal to its power on the spacecraft. Station only as a sorcery. It's an artifact creature at 7+. And then when it has 7+, flying, other tapped legendary creatures you control have indestructible. The commander's rule changed, means now also legendary vehicles can be your commander. Legendary vehicles can now be your commander. One of the very first commander decks I built was the Depala. Vehicles and dwarves. I called it Get in the Back of My Depala. I might wind up just making a whole vehicle set because I was going to make a Muliang commander because I opened up a shiny one, a good alternate art one that goes for like $2 now. But it looks cool. So yeah, I think my commandering is going to be commandering a little bit more. But now here's the issue: is I need colors. I need a legendary with commander colors. I can't do mono because I don't have enough wastes to build a commander deck like that. Shocklands obviously returning to the standard pool. They're available in play boosters, collector boosters, and bundles. Treatment, default, and traditional foil, as I predicted. That's the looking it up right now. There's no other alternate art of these. It's just a foil or default. I knew it. Those are late additions to the set because they know Edge of Eternities is going to be hot fire, and not in a good. I'm not hot fire. A dumpster fire. Then the 18 different treatments of Mutavault, borderless celestial basic lands are available everywhere. They don't look nice to me. They just look off. They just look really off. 30-pack play boosters, 12-pack collector boosters, the 2 commander decks, the bundles with the 9 cards, pre-release, and yeah, that was everything they announced. Avatar this November, they previewed Avatar Aang. The front side is green, red, white, and blue for a legendary creature, human avatar ally. So allies are back, I guess. It's 4/4/4. Flying, firebending 2. Don't know what that is. Whenever you waterbend, earthbend, firebend, or airbend, draw a card. Then if you've done all 4 of this turn, transform Avatar Aang into Aang, Master of Elements, legendary creature avatar ally. It's a 6/6 now, flying. Spells you cast cost Wooburg less to cast, so 1 of each color less to cast. At the beginning of each upkeep, you may transform Aang, Master of Elements. If you do, you gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4+1/+1 counters on him, and he deals 4 damage to each opponent. Holy crap, I didn't read the backside of that card. All right. And the numbering tells me it's probably a commander. 363. Probably a commander, especially with the symbol. That looks like something they would do for commander. But if that's a commander card, oh boy, are you Avatar fans cooking in commander. And then they introduced Pick 2 draft, a new way to play. It's not replacing draft with the 8-person pod. This is a 4-person, quick as you know what pod draft format. Instead of picking 1 card each pick, you're picking 2 cards now. So, and it's a 4-player pod. That's why it's half the pod, double the picks, very quick draft experience. I can see this going over pretty well. Pick 2 draft events play out similar to other drafts, but with a few key differences. This is from Wizards' column about it at magic.wizards.com news. When you open your first play booster, you take 2 cards from it, pass to the left. You repeat this process, taking 2 cards each time and passing it to the left until there are no more cards passed. Then you open your second play booster, pick 2 cards, pass to the right. Do the same for the third, passing to the left. Once you've completed a draft, you build a 40-card deck out of the cards you've drafted and any number of basic lands. And then where can I play a Pick 2 draft? We've included Pick 2 draft as part of our lineup for ticketed play at that Magic Con. Pick 2 draft events are a great way. Additionally, you can Pick 2 draft using any Magic the Gathering boosters. While the format is designed primarily with play boosters in mind, there's nothing stopping you from Pick 2ing with booster packs across Magic's history. Since this is an official format, your local game store may host sanctioned Pick 2 drafts events. We're excited for you to try it out. And from what they said, these Pick 2 drafts, from beginning to end, take about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's playing all your games because you play against your pod. That sounds good to me. Get 3 quick games. Yeah, draft, build. The draft would take half the time. Yeah, I can see that. But then they also announced Two-Headed Giant for Commander. The Commander Box League don't like. You buy a box, you open it up. To help players build exciting, we're adopting some paragrams from Commander Draft for Commander Sealed. You'll construct a 60-card deck out of the contents of a single play booster box and any number of basic lands. You can include anything you open inside your play booster box, but not any promos you receive. That means you can include the contents of any box topper packs, but not things like buy a box promos. Your deck can include multiple copies of cards you open with the same name. You ignore the color identity rule in deck building. Play any legal commander you open and then fill your deck with cards of any color. The color identity of your commander still applies to cards like Arcane Signet to explicitly refer to color identity. Games are played in pods of 3 to 4 players. I've seen people do it, like Loading Ready Run and a couple other YouTubers, and it seems like a fun thing to do. Tularian Community College, but now Wizards is trying to get you to buy a box to make a commander. But the other better announcement that I feel, and I don't like Two-Headed Giant in sealed at all. Like, I don't like it. But Two-Headed Giant Commander Night. Looking to share the joys of Commander with your friends? At Two-Headed Giant Commander Nights, players can join forces in 2-on-2 games of Commander. Here, you'll team up with another player of your choice or be paired with another attendee for some casual multiplayer games. If you're looking to introduce a friend to in-store play or want a casual place to test your latest Commander deck, these events are perfect for you. I love this Two-Headed Giant for Commander. Only if I get to play with my partner, as my partner. So that was basically everything that went down here. The TLDR, I don't like Edge of Eternities. I do like Shocklands. I'll be buying a lot of them. Commander's good at this point. But yeah, folks, if you disagree with me, that's okay. We can all disagree. I know I got a little destructive with my criticisms of the set. I tried to keep it as vague as possible. I don't have a good feeling about this set. Look, stores and the player base itself are still reeling over the last non-traditional fantasy with nothing else in front or behind it. Not cowboy fantasy, not outlaw fantasy, not pirate fantasy, not detective fantasy set. And that was the NASCAR set, Aether Drift. And nobody likes that set. Some do, but for the vast majority, it didn't go over well. Probably one of the worst bought sets in Magic's history. Followed immediately up by Tarkir, which is an amazing set. And then followed up by that with the best-selling set of all time before it came out, Final Fantasy. So we'll see how Edge of Eternity does in a month's time almost. A little over a month. That being said, double podcast this week, multiple draft videos out this week into next week as well. What am I doing? I'm actually on a schedule for once. My name is Dom Douglas here for Max Heroes and Villains YouTube channel. May your top deck always be mythic. I'm going to get some Two-Headed Giant Commander games in a month.